to do, but it's nothing to shit. I built this shit from the ground up, back to pound up. When browned up, used to chase bitches, now them same bitches pound us. You ain't for the cause, nigga, get the fuck around us.
Hey, what's good, everybody? So this time around, I actually want to try something different and actually talk about some of the in-game stuff that actually is like something that you live by on a day-to-day basis when you play Street Fighter 6. It's something that you guys are more able to like relate to on a surface level of things, more so than like understanding like yourself on like a spiritual sense, or like the psychology behind everything. That is something that already requires a bit more of an advanced like understanding of things to be able to like just grasp and stuff. However, like I know you guys have heard things such as like FOOTSIES, spacing, and frame data and stuff. For this topic, I wanted to talk about more on the realms of like dealing with like FOOTSIES and stuff, like a bit on the frame data, but that's not going to be the main focus of this video. It's mostly understanding like the spacing and stuff when it comes to like FOOTSIES, and it's something that I had to develop like from the very beginning of like Street Fighter 6. Even though I knew about like what it is, I knew what it was like to like play neutral in the FOOTSIE range and stuff, but I wasn't necessarily a master of it because of the fact that in tag fighters like Dragon Ball or Marvel, like you're able, there's like a numerous amount of ways to like play from full screen by like shooting like full beam projectiles, or like being able to wave dash, super dash, or vanish, or just jump really high up in the air, and the fight ends up taking like up like 300 feet in the air and shit. Like none of that exists in a game like Street Fighter, and where you're like more grounded in stuff, and you are gonna be in this space right here, which there should be a picture in which you're gonna be moving in and out of range of like your opponent's normals or reach, and your opponent's going to be moving in and out of like your own reach and stuff, and it's a constant chess battle of like seeing who either cracks first or makes the first mistake. And it's something that once again I had to like learn to understand more in depth with and learn to master, especially at the point where I'm at, where it's basically a necessity, especially with the characters that I play. It has to exist somewhere, and with a very like specific like standard of depth and understanding. You gotta know these things. So just to start things off and stuff, like for myself personally with Ken and stuff, Ken in this game has like very decent normals and stuff. They actually cover a lot of good range horizontally and stuff. They're not necessarily the best in the entire game, but he can fight well against like a lot of the cast and stuff. He has at least one or two buttons that are able to like help him fight against like every opponent, But I will say that despite that, like there are like certain matchups in which like either the opponent is able to fare equally against him, or they actually outclass him when it comes to like the FOOTSIE game, right? Because like a lot of some of these characters have like very like long-reaching pokes and stuff. Putting aside Dalsum, because Dalsum is like playing a different game of Street Fighter, just by the archetype of character that he is, right? But in this example, I'm gonna be using like Manon in this case, because in my opinion, like Manon is like one of Ken's like worst matchups and stuff, which to some may be like a surprise to hear, because they want to treat Ken like he's like a god tier character and stuff, but there's literally like no way to play like neutral against her, against a very like solid like Manon and stuff, because of because of the way that, you know, the ranges in which her buttons are able to like poke back at Ken, and also like the spacing that they leave her at, it's very difficult to play any kind of neutral against her and stuff. And that on top of like him having like one of the worst fireballs and stuff, and at high levels of play, like, you know, any small gap is going to be capitalized on and stuff. So even things like Dragon Lash, the heavy Dragon Lash, mind you, like, it's DI food. So, you know, for this matchup, like, it's vital to like understand or to have like a very deep understanding of like, you know, neutral in the footsie range, to be able to like fight against a character like Manon, or even some other characters like Elena can be tough at times. Usually any character with like decent pokes themselves, you know, even Cammy, like her buttons actually can be hard to like contend against. So understanding and now you go into like a realm in where you now have to like employ things such as like understanding timing and stuff, and also being very like careful and specific with what you press and at which moment. You just have to think like twice as much than you normally would do against other characters like Lily, for example. You know, like, that's not much of a problem. Honda's not much of a problem. And when you are like in Sim's face, like, that's not much of a problem too, right? But, you know, I'm not here to discuss too much about matchups and stuff. I'm only using this example for the video. So in this case, like, you know, what I did to like kind of understand the matchup more, because of the fact that, you know, I wasn't really too educated on like how I'm supposed to play against this character, especially when her neutral is a lot better than Ken's, at least in the footsie range. So what I did was understand like the more character specific things, which is not it's not even exclusive to her too. Like, there are set like examples of like this with DJ also, but being able to get like a level 2 punish was one. So as you can see here, like in this pre-recorded footage, like, I have like the dummy set up to like do certain things such as like a sweep, standing heavy kick, the axe kick and stuff, and you'll see me go for a level 2 punish, right? And of course, like, I'm not gonna get it every time and stuff, like, you know, that's just like, you know, human nature. But eventually you will see like I do get things consistently and stuff, and with footage like further up from now, like, you know, you'll see that I'm actually able to employ this like you know, in a live match, right? And you know, I added another like thing such as like a jump in to also just keep my mind fresh on the fact that, you know, the opponent can literally go for a jump too, and any of these options at random, right? Like, all of that is just you're just waiting to see which one of these are gonna happen first. But it's still up to you to be ready as you can be for something that you're not gonna be 100% ready for, and ready to capitalize on it if you can, right? So including with the sweep, like, you know, blocking that and getting the most optimal punish for that too, right, in that situation. And, you know, to go back more into like understanding the interactions when it comes to like trading buttons and stuff, I have the dummy set in this clip right here to like throw out a button every time that I you know, hit it with a normal and the dummy blocks it, right? And it's I picked out the ones that I most see common in matches against like Manons and stuff. So you'll see like standing medium kick, crouching medium kick, standing heavy punch. I think it's standing standing heavy punch, or I don't think it's crouching heavy punch, but you'll see standing heavy kick and stuff like that. And you'll see me just like start to press buttons and understand like what positions am I being left in. Like, am I even in a position to press something and make contact with Manon, even if it is to just like put pressure on her on block. But you know, as you can see in some of these, like I'm noticing that like you know, I'm actually like out of range, you know. So I know in my mind to watch out for that in case like later on a Manon's gonna be able to pick that up and like start to press buttons there, which I mean, it's been happening, so that's the reason why I'm even here in the lab right now. So, but every now and then, like I'll see positions in which I'm actually able to get a punish, and you'll see me do like a standing light kick, though with a button in front of me, so I'm actually able to you know, beat them when it comes to spacing and stuff, right? And like get my own punish there, you know. So this is how I kind of like study the matchups and stuff. I don't really take it to training mode all the time unless I really like need to, and I'm getting my ass kicked over and over by like one specific character. Because a lot of the time, like, to me, like, I just have a good eye, and I'm able to see this even within like a live match, right? Even in like ranked and stuff, you know. But you know, it is good to like take the time to like take some of your worser matchups, or just go through like every character in the entire game, right? And just like, you know, employ some of these things in order to you know, see what position are you at an advantage, whether it be because of like the frame data or the spacing, you know. And like it'll help you like be more comfortable with being up in your opponent's face and like playing neutral there. But you also you want to be able to like develop an ability too to even like fight back when you are backed up against the corner, which I'll have right here and stuff. But even though like I wasn't really doing much there, I was just trying to emulate like having like Manon just like move back and forth and start to press buttons at me. And eventually you'll see at points where she starts to like drive rush and go for grabs and stuff. And in other clips you'll see me actually see that and take it with Punisher for that and check the drive rush. So all of these things like you can lab out inside training mode, and even then like you can go back in certain replays and stuff, and they have the replay like training shit. I don't know what it's called, but you have that at your disposal, right? So eventually you do want to take things into a live match, right? But let's say you don't know anybody that even plays like a specific character. If you have matchup issues, or you just don't want to deal with the randomness of like ranked or casuals, or want to lose like, you know, your MR points, right? Or whatever, you don't want to D-rank and shit if you're not even in Master. So my advice to you is to go to something that I wanted to say for another video, but I'm actually going to tie this into like this one right here, and that's the V-Rival system, right? And the good thing about the V-Rival system is that even though it's not really 100% perfect as far as like emulating a live human opponent, like as far as like playing a match goes, it's still the next best thing over the regular CPU AI. This AI will still be able to simulate that, and you can also pick and choose like what character you want to play against, and it's still like accurate enough to simulate that of a live match. But because of the fact that, you know, at least where I'm at, to me, like the gameplay is like slow enough for me to like lab out like you know, some of the specific things I was training against. So you'll see in the footage right here, like you'll see me go for like level 2 punishes and stuff. You'll see me punish some of her normals even when I am in range, like not needing the level 2 at all. But you know, it's things like that. getting optimal combos and stuff. And you know, it's I'm gonna do this enough to where like it's ingrained to me to just do this shit as like secondhand nature, you know. And this is something you want to develop, you know, going forward when you do eventually like head into an offline bracket, or you decide to like go into ranked with this shit, no matter what it is and stuff, right? At the end of the day, like it'll matter for those situations when you're playing against a live human opponent. Keeping in mind too that they also are going to be adapting to these things as well, but you know for a fact that you'll have this this game, this information on like, you know, the character, like the actual in-game character specific things. You know, you've done your homework essentially, right? So you're coming in potentially more prepared than your opponent has, and you'll find yourself winning a lot more. And that's pretty much all I got to say for this video and stuff. Good 15 minutes now, so I'm good on time and stuff. It's something that I kind of want to get out the way, and I want to do something like a little mini series on this and stuff, just to give you guys things that you can actually like grasp onto as far as like gameplay and things that you could use to like help develop yourselves, you know. And I hope a lot of this like help you get insight into like what you could be doing or using in order to like help yourselves out, because a lot of these things that I mentioned, like even spending the littlest time doing these things, have really helped me a lot. I mean, I just tend to like learn things quickly by this, especially because of the fact that there's not really any stress of like playing like ranked or anything, you know. This would be like the best way in my opinion if you want to just focus on like working on very specific things. But don't forget, at the end of the day, like this is not a way to like replace as far as like the V-Rival system goes, this is not at all to replace like you playing against a live opponent. And I would still advise you guys to like find someone you know, like personally and stuff, or at most go into like casual matches in order to like, you know, you know, train on like certain fundamental things, and also like setups here and there. And if you can, like once you do run into like certain characters, like, you know, use what you learned there, you know. And that's pretty much all I got. I'm hoping a lot of this like helped you guys out. Feel free to share the video, like, comment, subscribe, do what you want. You know, I'm gonna end the video right here, and I'm gonna be on my way. And I hope y'all stay blessed too. So this is Infinite 47, and I'll be seeing y'all around. Peace.